Hello everyone, it's me, Captain Blueberry Buckaroo, aka Lancer737, and today we're going to go through some theories, some facts, and we're going to be visiting people's equestrias. Now, first thing, before I get to the visiting part and showing you my friend code, there's one thing I wanted to check out that I forgot to do last time. One of my viewers pointed out that they feel like that they saw the seventh element of magic in the Crystal Empire. So let's go check that out. And by the way, speaking of Crystal Empire, tomorrow we're getting a campaign. I believe it's a rerun. Yeah, it's a rerun. But it's a really fun one. So get ready for that. Get ready. If you've already played it, get ready to win some more rubies. If not, it's a fun one. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But first, let's check this out. I think they said it was on one of the Vosses. One of the Vosses. Actually, I'll check the store. I think that'd be easier because I'm not quite sure if I have used everything here. No, Crystal Empire. Okay, not quite seeing anything yet. It's quite possible maybe they have an item that I don't have. Or maybe it's something you have to win. I'm going to look around. Wait. Maybe they made one of those. You know what? It does at least have the crystal heart on it. And you know, the crystal heart very well could be. No, I don't think it's the seventh element. But I think it's very close. Because apparently, when you go through the art book of Equestria, which is very well made, written by people that actually worked on the show, it's saying that the love magic that Cadence is using, and technically by default, shining armor whenever he's with her, that's specifically alicorn magic. So that's a very interesting thing to point out, that at least excluding potion magics, the magic that involved with the crystal heart and love magic itself, when like specifically like what you're seeing with Cadence in them, that's alicorn. That's a specific alicorn magic. It's not something generic to unicorns. There probably is a unicorn analog for it, and Love Struck is probably the one that has it, if anyone does. But it's interesting to note that I was looking through the lore again, through my dusty tombs of lore, brought to me by Emperor Palpatine himself. To be a wise and complete being in this universe, one must have a broader spectrum of the Force. Love magic is one of it, and so is dancing. Okay, so anyway, that is something interesting to point out. I did not notice any of these details at all. Crystal Empire is one of the few places left where you can hyper zoom in on something. It's got 2 crystal guards as well. That's great. More babes. Too bad I can't use love magic to make them go away because I hate that game. I'm getting nowhere in that game. I'm about to delete that stupid thing, especially since someone just attacked me in it and stole a bunch of resources that I needed. That might be one of the queens before even Sombra's time. That is the one that Sombra shattered into pieces. Can't believe she didn't die from that. That has some horrifying implications, by the way. But it was interesting that they pointed that out. I just had never noticed that level of detail. Notice that this thing right here actually has all the elements. And one additional crystal. I wonder if they were talking about this. If you notice, there's a spot for a 7th element. Very likely the element of love. But it's interesting that it is missing a spot. I was about to say maybe it's what's hanging from there, but I kind of doubt it. That's too generic. It looks like a gem from Zelda. Very good game series, by the way. I wouldn't mind playing that for you guys, but I still have no Nintendo stuff that I can easily stream whatsoever. Now I have hyper zoomed into this. This is really cool, but you'll see it stutter. I wish they could have clipped that a little bit better, but it still looks pretty cool. When I say stutter, you'll see the two Wendigos freeze for just a millisecond. Well, anyway, now that we've gone on this exploration, actually, I'm going to look around here just a little bit to see what else we have. That probably represents the element of magic, kind of, up there. Maybe a previous bearer had that. Maybe. Or it could be a crude emblem depicting the Crystal Empire's coat of arms. You'd think they would do better because everything else is so well made. But I don't know. I want to lead towards it meaning something else. Probably the element of magic, but definitely not the coat of arms for the Crystal Empire. That's interesting. Let's see. 8-pointed star. 8-pointed. What could that be about? Maybe a separate theory on its own. Well, anyway, let's get to visiting people's Equestria. First, we're going to go to Ponyville because not everyone has a Crystal Empire. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Wait. I already have her, I believe, so I wonder what that would be for me. Nothing. Of course, I was like, please, let it be rubies. Please, let it be rubies. Like, no. No rubies for you. You have too many rubies. I mean, you technically don't even have enough to get one feature main 6 character, but too many rubies for you. Okay, don't forget to add me. My friend code is on the top left-hand corner. And here we go. Anyway, while we're waiting for the loading, I was talking about dragon ponies off and on, and there's technically 2 different kinds. There's the kind that Discord is. I forget the specific name for it, but he is very, very slightly sometimes referred to as a dragon pony. But his species, his subgroup of species, is known by its other name, much more like a Draconus, with a Q, not like Draconin. But him and his cousin are half pony, half dragons, and it's because of the chaotic nature of both species magic that give them chaos magic, and also they have no defining features that you can distinguish to depict, what you're looking at, because when you're looking at his cousin, you wouldn't even think that she's the same species. You'd think that she's some kind of upright griffin or something. But no, they're a different species and subgroup of pony, believe it or not. I'm probably blowing people's minds as we speak. Man, I keep on going to the Darth Sidious voice. That's kind of disturbing. Hope I'm not becoming a Sith Lord while playing this game. That could end really bad for everyone, including myself, because I didn't want to... Well, I mean, he is one of the greatest villains of all time. Oh, no, now I'm starting to even agree with things with him. Things are not going well, people. I'm becoming a Sith Lord. Okay. Let's go. Don't forget to add Rose Star. That's a nice name. Their friend code is right next to their name. I'm actually kind of concerned that I have been here because that name does sound awfully familiar. And as you've seen with how I keep track of things, the names do constantly shift in and out. So I may be retreading previous ground, but I want to say I'm not because this doesn't look familiar. At first it did with the shield here, but the rest of it does not look familiar. So I don't think I am retreading ground that I've passed before. Now, it's very, very, very barren, but if I were to pick a favorite spot, it would be this. It just looks cool and crazy to have a volcano, well, lava pool next to two different tree houses while it's snowy and stuff. I like it. Actually, you know what? I am starting to get some deja vu here. I think I have been here. I think the friends list is busted again. I'm very sorry, everyone. We'll breeze through this. Rosie Star, you did an amazing job. Thank you. Merry Christmas and have a happy New Year. And again, I'm just sorry that I cannot keep this consistent because it does keep on making the names flip all over the place. I'm very sorry about that. I bet you as we scroll through this, we're going to see some names that are not marked. If we don't, it's going to be a rare occurrence at this point in time, just because how unreliable my friends list is nowadays. Well, it didn't. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, Uncle Cookie. Don't forget to add Uncle Cookie. Their friend code is next to their name. Let's see if we've been to Uncle Cookie before. The name does not sound familiar to me. The place looks very nice, though. It doesn't look familiar. So I think I have not been to this place before. And it looks really good. If I were to pick a favorite spot, it would be everything that's on the screen for the usual reasons. And I also like that this is all centered around the element of laughter. I don't know why, but it seems fitting. Probably because I'm going crazy. Very slowly. But the rest of this place, it looks very nice. And they've done a great job. Uncle Cookie, you've done an amazing job. Merry Christmas to you and have a Happy New Year. Okay, let's see where else we're going to go. Hopefully it loads faster. And then there's another subspecies of dragon. Now, if I remember correctly, this may have been in a Princess Luna story, comic, I believe. Um, but she was watching Twilight in her dreams categorize tombs of knowledge based off species that she may or may not have encountered, but she was still interested in reading about them. One of them was called half dragons. So that's a very broader term, and it probably does not specifically have to be a draconis, whatever you want to call it, with a Q. Okay, here's filter pants. Don't forget to add them. Their friend code is next to their name. That's a very common reused name because a lot of our names are generated. I used to literally have the name Captain Blueberry Buckaroo in this, but when I lost my very, very first profile, they gave me a randomly generated name, and I could not change it. So everyone that's able to still change your names, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. Here we go. Filter pants. Here we go. Filter pants. Oh, I like what you see what they did with the trees MLP. That's very cool. I'm assuming they tried to make a heart there, maybe. I mean, it's broadly there. The only thing that's kind of not working right is the trees above it. But other than that, it looks very much like a heart, like love MLP. If that wasn't intentional, it still looks pretty cool. But I do like this place. It might be my favorite one. It's not as expanded as some of the others that I've visited, but it looks very nice. I like all the craziness that they did back there. Now that looks familiar, but I don't feel like I saw that recently. I really don't. I think this is something I've seen a year ago. if I picked a favorite section, it would be either the areas with all the lakes and trees. I know that sounds crazy, but it's just something that draws me in, or all the work they went into to make literal trees spell out love MLP, or at least just MLP. It looks really good, really nice. You did a nice job, Filter Pants. Merry Christmas to you, Filter Pants, and have a Happy New Year. But yeah, and since Dungeons and Dragons is commonly used as a point of reference in MLP, you could use the lore for Half Dragons up until they officially come out with their own lore for G4, which I hate to say it, excluding stuff that happens in the game, it's likely we're not going to get any more G4 stuff. I hate to say, just because what's happening with IDW comics, and it doesn't seem like they make novels anymore, which isn't. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what they've done with the G4. Um, I can make a whole rant on that myself, and maybe I'll do that right now. They did not handle the franchise as well as you'd think they should or did. Like there are so many different kind of games that they could have made. They saw the fans make them, and they wouldn't make them. That's insane to me, especially since Gameloft made a trailer depicting an MLP game that was Mega Man based, but they just did that for a video. There was no Mega Man based MLP game to come out. That's insane. Lots of people like RPGs like Final Fantasy. They could have made an official one, and they didn't. And it's like all the really good games, the few games they made for MLP official ones, they abandoned them. And it's there was more merchandise they could have made too, and they also dropped the ball on that. They dropped the ball on a lot of stuff, and like all these source books, these are amazing source books that they made for MLP, and then like some most I want to say like half the novels are really good. The other half are kind of meh. They're meh. They're not bad, but they're meh. But they made a lot of really good novels, especially source books. They could have made lots more, and they dropped the ball on that. Hasbro needs to be slapped around a bit. I'm not kidding. Okay, so Granny Days is next. I think we'll visit Granny Days and then King Daisy, and then we'll get to our lore and theories. So anyway, here you go, Granny Daisy. This also does not look familiar to me, so I think it just bumped around a couple profiles, not a bunch of them. Applejack and Apple Bloom right there. Let's see. It's nicely made, that's for sure, and I like what they've done here. That's what I did. I tried to have everyone's the element bearer's house is right next to element totem. Um, if I were to pick a favorite spot, it probably would either be this section right here, just because I love the hotel and how it just meshes so well with the scenery, especially on the outskirts of town. This section right here, it might be simple, but the place is very uniform. I'm not complaining, but the place is very uniform, so there's not too many things that are popping out to me when I look at like defining details. Yeah, I think it's just those two places. Granny Days, you did a nice job. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you and have a Happy New Year. Okay, one more, and we're gonna go get into some lore. But yeah, I'm very disappointed with Hasbro with what they've done. And one of the reasons I think that they did get rid of G4 and in TV show fashion, not overall multiverse stuff. Because we're supposed to be having, they have a manga series too that's really awesome. I think that got canceled too or something. And like Equestria Girls, it's like we don't know what's going to happen with that. It might be canceled also. But yeah, And there's a story behind that. You guys, are you familiar with all the leaks from the TV show? Like they pretty much had like the very last 3 seasons in one TV format leaked online. The story behind that is because one of their animators was caught doing something really bad. Let's just say they're an adult and they like children way too much. I'm going to leave it at that. If you're too young to not understand that, I don't. It's something you should not have to worry about. Talk to a parent if you have to. But if you're old enough to know, then yeah, he got caught. He became vindictive, and he's the one that leaked the last 3 seasons of MLP online. Completely tanked a lot of profit that Hasbro could have made and Deke could have made through G4. And I think that's why so much of it just had to be abandoned because loss of profit. So many people were. I mean, I would have continued on. I would have taken the loss and been like, well, okay, well, he's gone now. I'm going to continue on with their own stories. But they felt like it would be more profitable to start a new generation, which, that's a corporate thing. I want to say 60% of the time, corporate decisions are bad decisions. Okay. Next is King Daisy. Don't forget to add King Daisy. King Daisy's friend code is right next to their name. And here we go. Some of this is really compacted, but other parts of this is really well made. I like it. King Daisy's place might be my favorite one for today, that's for sure. I love how they've designed everything, the walkways, how all they've integrated their city with lush miniature forests and lakes. It looks really, really good. But what is my favorite spot? I want to say this is my second favorite spot. I bet you're expecting me to say the first favorite one, but no, it's not quite that good, but it is good. Um, I am gonna have to go with this spot. Everything that's on the screen right here, that is my favorite spot. I love what they did there. That's what caught my eye. I really love it. Oh, there's the reindeer version of Rainbow Dash. Don't know quite the story behind her because I know it's not Rainbow Dash. At least I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm not sure if it's an alternate universe version of her or if it's just a fluke that there's a flying reindeer that has the same colors as Rainbow Dash. Um, anyway, this is a great place. King Daisy, Merry Christmas to you and have a Happy New Year. Now you know what time it is. It's time for some pony theories and facts, bits of lore. So, I constantly mention changelings as being ponies. Now, I felt like, because of clarification purposes, I gotta wrap this up kind of quick. My battery's getting low. Sorry about that. I constantly bring up changelings as being a race of ponies. A lot of people are not aware of this, but in the official lore, they are indeed labeled as a pony. So here we go. First bit of facts come from, well, didn't mean to do that. Back that up a second. Okay, first bit of lore comes from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, the official guidebook. 20% cooler than all the other books. This is a really good book. It even has a foreword from Lauren Frost herself. And an introduction by Megan McCarthy and Jason Thesian. Might have said his name wrong. So let's go to page 53. Under Changelings. This is what it says. Changelings are grotesque shape-shifting ponies. Keyword, it says ponies, who can morph their bodies into anything. These frightening creatures have fangs as well as insect features and translucent wings designed to scare even the bravest pony into submission. First featured in A Canterlot Wedding, Part 2. It also has to say this about Queen Chrysalis, is a shape-shifting leader of the changelings, a vicious group of creatures who are bent on destruction and mayhem. The queen even tried to take over Canterlot by using her powers to impersonate Princess Cadence and destroy the kingdom. Featured in A Canterlot Wedding, Part 1 and 2. And art director that is commenting on Queen Chrysalis in an outer universe, comment. I really enjoyed working with Rebecca Dart and creating Queen Chrysalis, though all I had to do was approve the amazing design. Okay, so this isn't all going to be about whether they are ponies. I think it should be pretty clear that they are. This is about Queen Chrysalis. This comes from the My Little Pony, The Art of Equestria official book. This is a very detailed book. Like I mentioned before, it shows all the production art and prototype art for all the characters and the motivations for why the characters were designed the way they were. This is page 100, Queen Chrysalis. When I designed Queen Chrysalis for Canterlot Wedding in Season 2, initially she was drawn as being wet and hunched over, and it made her look weak and a bit, Golgamekith. It's a weird word. Let's say ill. I also wanted to make her look rotten, like she crawled out from under a log, because she's bug-like. That's why she's all moth-eaten and full of holes. I saw a note from Hasbro that said that she wasn't scary enough, so I had to do a special pose of her rearing up to prove that she could be a supervillain. Just putting her upright made her more commanding. The art is very cool too. If you look at some of the art, the prototype art for Queen Chrysalis, especially number two actually looks like a mix between. Great, now I forgot her name. She's the unicorn that has her horn busted off. That's in the first MLP movie. She's an antagonist up until the very end of the film. For some reason, I can't remember her name. Tempest Shadow. She looks like a mix between Tempest Shadow and a hippogriff. Isn't that crazy? I wonder if they reused some of the prototype art for Queen Chrysalis to create a hippogriff, because that looks very much like what it is. My second to last, I should say, bit of information I should point out about the changelings is in this. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, the official guidebook, Volume 2. Even more guidebook, why pony fun. Okay, hold on just 1 second. This is on page 52 under Queen Chrysalis. So, Queen Chrysalis was once changeling royalty until her quest to acquire the power of love corrupted her spirit. Then she desired one thing, revenge, on the ponies who kept her from her ultimate prize, even as Twilight Sparkle tried to befriend her and show her how to lead her own people with love. Now, I just wanted to bring up all these facts because, the one last bit of information. The last bit of information comes from comic mediums. I know a lot of people are trying to say that they're not canon, but they are canon. But not only that, even then, it would be in the multiverse, because they did mention that if anything is like extremely, if it conflicts and stuff, then it's part of the MLP multiverse. So there's multiple multiverses going on. There would be infinite, to be honest with you. But it points out to the very, very creation of the first changelings, which was from a plant that fell into a magical pond, creating very dangerous changeling creatures that, do, as what we've seen before, try to take over people. So, question is then, we know they're ponies, but why are they ponies? Because they started off as plants, or at least some of them did. But I think from the things that they have shown, that it's a hybrid mix between what Ink Rose wrote in the lore for changelings, mixed with some of the new stuff that they've added. Because there's some hints with other bits of lore, which I unfortunately do not have in front of me, that make it out that she was indeed at least one time a normal pony, quite possibly an alicorn. And these parts that I'm mentioning here, this is my pony theory. I believe Queen Chrysalis, during the ages of the normal times for alicorns, specifically alicorns, was indeed a normal alicorn. And then the time of darkness came, and because, as we've seen with a lot of magics, they are very much emotion based. Very much emotion based. You need to have specific emotions to trigger and activate specific spells, and different increments of it to do different spells, and different levels of that specific spell. So what happened was, at some point during this conflict, when the nightmares came, I do not believe she was taken over, but I do think something tragic did happen to her. Whether it be because she was trying to escape the nightmares, maybe she was at war with them. But I do believe that in this conflict, she came into contact with these things. Not the nightmares, but the original OG changelings, as we've seen before. And if you flat out want to ignore the comics, then we'll leave it at this. Ignore that part. But still something happened that involved her using or being enveloped with magic that caused her to become a member of the undead. You might be wondering yourself, why would I say that? Well, in the production art, as I've pointed out, and this is the reason I wanted to bring it up, they make it clear that she is rotting. Living things don't rot, unless it's something that is about to die. That is always also something possible. She could be in a state in between, which again would you could call that undead. But the very nature of her, besides changelings in mythology, she does follow attributes for some mythologies involving specifically Western vampires. And in fact, there's a lot of attributes about her that make her very much an energy-based vampire. Going specifically for love itself and sapping all the love out of things, weakening things, that is very much in line in the occult involving energy vampires. Something I absolutely steer and recommend anyone not getting into. It's bad. It's very evil. This character is a living representation of why, both in fiction and in real life, energy vampirism, any vampirism, should be avoided. Because look at her. She's in a state of decay, and she must always sap the energy out of things to stay alive, or at least be powerful. But I do believe that she was originally an alicorn, and during the conflict, in order to survive the conflict, she became a member of the undead. Again, pointing out to it, they purposely wanted to draw her as something that is in the state of dying or is dead, rotten. She's a vampiric alicorn. And she and her other members through the ages, either by conversion or were created in the pond, depending on if you want to use that comic bit of lore or not. As I've said before, it is canon. But if you want to consider something happening to another universe, just ignore that little bit. This theory still stands. Can't talk. This theory still stands. She's not simply some other insectoid-like creature, and she has a lot of attributes to her that are not insectoid too. They're very mammalian, including mandible bones, normalish eyes. But yeah, insectoid things are also sometimes attributed to things that are undead. Now, I think a lot of her kind were cured of that when they became very much like Thorax did. But why she would have had to have gone through this, she was terrified either of being destroyed and or found by the nightmares, or the only way to escape them was to become a member of the undead. Or in an attempt to escape the nightmares, she accidentally came in contact with this dangerous plant and pond and became one of them. Or, excluding that, involving magics, again, she found the means to make it so that she could not be taken by the nightmares. As far as we know, nightmare entities and creatures cannot take over dead or undead creatures. And in her case, she's dying and or undead. And that very well have been enough for her to stave off being taken by the nightmares, turned into something like Nightmare Moon. But in turn, she became something, a different kind of evil, one that would plague many creature kinds, much more in the primary G4 universe than even the nightmares themselves. So it's very much a two-bladed sword approach to a situation that she took to escape the nightmares. And as we've seen, it was not a good one. Granted, probably would have been worse to be taken by the nightmares, but becoming a member of the undead, it was not a good idea. Anyway, let me know what you think about this. As I stated, I'm not just pulling this out of thin air. The actual designers for Queen Chrysalis, when they were designing her, took that approach to designing her to make her look like a decaying creature. And as I've stated, unless you have gangrene, living things don't decay. And when you have gangrene, you are dying. You're very close to dying. You'll have blood poisoning and stuff like that. Anyway, hope you guys like this. Let me know anything else you want to talk about. Peace be with you. Have a good day. And tomorrow is a campaign. I probably will not be visiting anyone's Equestria tomorrow or doing theories. I might, but I probably won't. But I definitely will the next day. Peace be out. Peace be with you, and see you later.